Oklahoma just flat out went to Neyland and won last night. 33-27, they beat Tennessee. I would give this game 3.5 Chali. It was a classic, what we would call a bad luck first half. That is derived from bad luck stats, which are the opposite of padlock stats. Bad luck stats are the really, really misleading stats that if you saw nothing more than the box score, you'd never be able to guess who won the game. This first half, bad luck half. There was a team that had a 255-99 yardage edge, a 17-5 first down edge. That's right, kids. Yeah, that's right. 17 first downs in the first half. I'm not done. 211-44 passing yardage edge, 49-25 plays run edge, and that team trailed 16-10 at the half. That team was the Tennessee Volunteers. 3 first half turnovers, 2 inside the Oklahoma 40, 1 led to a score. It was tough. It was so bad, I had Tennessee fans hitting me up at halftime, begging me not to make them the Sarah McLachlan special, and they didn't even know what the second half was going to bring yet. That's how bad it was. But this right here is what teams do. Teams, good teams do. See, we thought going into this game that one of these quarterbacks was probably going to have to win it. And I didn't love Oklahoma in the spot because I didn't think Mateer was playing the kind of ball that made him capable of going in here and winning this game. And that's even with Tennessee's defensive limitations. But he didn't need to. He was 19-29, had 159 yards through the air. He threw a pick. Now, he did have 80 yards on the ground and did score a touchdown, but he didn't light the world on fire here. I'll tell you what Oklahoma did get. For the second week in a row, they got a 100-yard rusher in Xavier Robinson, 16 for 115. Now, that was a big deal. 7.2 yards per attempt. It was a big deal because you're used to guys in college football fading during the season. We see that all the time, right? We see guys that shine in September, but then they get banged up October, and by November, you're like, oh, man, if we only still had so-and-so. Oh, man, if so-and-so would have only been able to play a full year. Well, much more seldom, but sometimes there are guys who aren't ready to go early in the year. Sometimes they're rehabbing from surgery, and you're going to get them back in like October. Sometimes they just flat out aren't in shape at the beginning of the year. Sometimes they missed spring ball for whatever reason. Well, bottom line is don't discount guys just because they're not lighting the world on fire in September. And I guarantee you much of you, like me, are watching Xavier Robinson knowing full well Oklahoma has struggled to run the ball this year. And you're going, where's he been all year? That coaching staff isn't a bunch of idiots. They've had reasons why they have and haven't played who they have and haven't played. But what's important is he played last night. And he was a key part of winning this game. It felt like, also on the Tennessee side, this game felt like the first game where my fears for Joey Aguilar were fully realized, because the fear of bringing him in so late was he was very turnover prone. In his last year at App State, he had 5 games with multiple interceptions. So that was kind of the MO on him. Now the hope was, Heupel's system, man, it'll open the guys up for him. It'll make the reads. It'll make the checks. All he's got to do is just deliver an accurate ball. And so don't worry, we'll just wash all that away. Well, this was not that game. If that's how you thought it was going to go, this was not that game. And it was a terrible situational game for Tennessee as well. It's not a game they deserve to win. It was a tough watch because, like, you come out of that first half, and remember a week ago, we saw A&M dominate the first half box score, but they still trailed LSU. But it just felt like a matter of time before the dam broke. This game felt a little different to me. I felt like Tennessee left a lot on the field in the first half, and they may end up paying for it with a loss, and that's what happened. However, hey, really quick timeout. We'll get right back to the video. Do me one favor. Make sure you're subscribed. It helps us keep the show free. It helps us keep the lights on. It helps us keep doing college football year-round, and we appreciate it. All right, back to the video. What I didn't expect is to look at my phone. I got 2 texts last night from people whose opinions I kind of respect, except for last night when these are Tennessee fans, mind you, and they were like, is it time to have the conversation about Heupel? I said, I'd be happy to have a conversation about Josh. What do you want to know? And they're like, no, I mean, We're not saying we should fire him, but. Well, it sounds like you're saying you should fire him, even though you followed it with a but. It sounds like that's where you're trying to go with this. And they're like, well, no, it's just something has to change here. All right. On the ladder of criticism in coaching, let's just say we have 10 rungs. The 10th rung is fire this guy. You need to specify when you say changes need to be made. Are you talking about, like, are you on rung 3 critically or 4 or 5? Because there's a long way to go between this guy needs to make some changes versus we need to fire this guy. And sometimes we just shave off all the rungs 4 through 9. It's just either you're rung 3 or rung 10. It's kind of the way that was presented to me last night. So, hey, if you want to say he needs to make some changes on his staff, okay. I'm just going to ask, because I do possess the ability and the right to zoom out to 50,000 feet here for a second. Does anyone care to go back to July with me? Does anyone care to just recap what they thought about Tennessee coming into the season? Because we had a great big fight on this show right into this microphone where I looked and I had the audacity to say, hey, this dude, Josh Heupel, they're losing a lot off a good defense last year. This dude, Josh Heupel, just had his quarterback yanked from his roster after spring and went and got a guy who's been fairly turnover prone in his career. Oh, this guy's also got some big-time defensive injuries for the guys who are still there coming into the year. 8-4. I feel like 8-4 is about right. Oh, man, they rained criticism down on me. Well, here's the problem. The people, I'm not hating on you. You ought to root for your team to win every game. What I'm saying is some people who had, I think, unrealistic expectations for this team are now getting mad at the team for not fulfilling on their unrealistic expectations. Tennessee's right in line to do what I thought they were going to do. I had them as an 8-4 team. I thought it was a transition year. I called it a bridge year. I think they'll be right back in the mix next year. I mean, hot seat and Josh Heupel shouldn't even be in the same sentence unless he is commenting on the hot seat about someone else, is how I view that. So Tennessee's right where I expected. Now, they got New Mexico State, they go to Florida, they got Vandy left. Where are they going to finish? What are they, a 3-loss team? Yeah, they're a 3-loss team right now. They run the table. They can do better than I thought they'd do. I think they may lose one more game, either the Florida game or the Vandy game. I would advise you guys to make it the Florida game. Don't be losing to Vandy and Neyland last weekend of the season. Hey, as for Oklahoma now, all of a sudden, we got to repopularize the notion that Oklahoma has everything in front of them. Remember, let me take you to the preseason again. Do you remember the conversation about 3-loss SEC teams making the playoff? Some of you scoffed at it. Many of you scoffed at it. But most of you agreed, begrudgingly, if there's a 3-loss team from the SEC that makes the playoff, probably going to be Florida or Oklahoma. Well, mathematically, I'm told Florida is incapable of being a 3-loss team because they've already lost more than 3. Oklahoma is 7-2, and they got 3 games left. They're going to go to Bama, off a bye, by the way. They're going to go to Bama. They've got Missouri at home, injured quarterback, and they got LSU, decapitated head coach. So what happens if OU loses one more game? They lose the Bama game. They're 9-3. Where are they going to be? Where are they going to? Don't just be dismissing the notion because you hate SEC teams. Tell me, are there going to be 12 resumes better than that? I'm asking rhetorically because I don't know yet. How do you think it's going to play out? Much less if they win all their remaining games, then they're a shoo-in. But I'm wondering if they lose one of those games. Oklahoma, sort of left for dead after the Ole Miss loss. I thought they'd lose this past weekend, so I include myself in that. Interesting times. Interesting times.